So thank you for coming, and today I'm going to talk about the future of voice assistants and how voice assistants might change the way how we build the web and actually how we building that integration with voice assistants. So my name is Schedrov. I'm CEO of 5Jars. My contact information, if you will have any questions after that session or you just would like to reach out to me, go ahead and write. But 5Jars, that's the new company. It has been founded 1.5 years ago. We are using Drupal as our core service, but we're building a lot of products and innovations around it, like voice assistants, digital screens, mobile applications, and all those things. So we are kind of having Drupal at the center of everything and building the infrastructure and innovations around Drupal. And we are looking for developers. If you're interested, just come to me and let's talk in regards to that. I don't want to push you and do some descriptions and all those explanations. Just know that we are looking for good heads. We're distributed no matter where you are located. So at some point we were curious how exactly how new user experience changes the way how we build the web. And the first milestone and first huge milestone was the actually invention of the web browser. Invention of the web browser. First HTTP request, first HTML code, first CSS, all those things. That was the initial step of everything that is going on right now. So that's when the web and web experience appeared. So the next huge milestone in the way how we build the web was the invention of the smartphone, right? At this point, we started building websites, so they became more flexible, they became mobile friendly, they became more accessible mobile devices. So before that, there were some kind of emulation of the web, of the mobile-friendly browsers and mobile-friendly websites, but once the first iPhone with a touchscreen has been invented, we completely changed the way how we build websites. And next step, we think, that might be the voice assistants, right? So invention of the web browser, smartphones, skip pretty big chunk of devices and technologies that has been invented, but basically voice assistant might be the next big thing. And we are dreaming in regards to it. We are starting using it right now, and I will show you how exactly we're doing this. So voice assistant can be a huge life changer. Let's think through the usual morning. You wake up, you go to the kitchen, you make coffee, you do everything by yourself, you turn on the music, turn on TV, and all those things. So it might look like this. You might be in a hurry for some important meeting. But let's take a look at the guy who has wonderful morning enjoying his voice assistants and basically using the voice assistants.
Play jazz.
Playing jazz.
Smoothie.
Making smoothie.
Calendar.
No meetings today. Remember, dentist at 9:30.
Fire off.
Fire off.
Open door.
Door open.
So, wonderful morning, right? That's my usual morning. I wake up enjoying jazz and smoothie. Kidding, I'm just using smart devices and smart and voice assistants for a few things, not for making smoothie, but looks good, right? As a commercial, that's look terrific. You just wake up, say things, lock the doors. And basically, if we take a look at the statistic, basically smart speaker owners, they rise up every year. So in comparison to previous year, the ownership of the smart speakers has been raised up to 40% in comparison to the previous year. It means that there is demand. It means that people are purchasing smart speakers, they are interested in this technology, so they are working on this, and we are going through that learning curve, and the demand is going up. So if we take a look at the activities, basically the first one activity that people do through the voice assistants, that the turning on the music. So you can just say, Alexa, turn on the Ed Sheeran or something like that, and she will do that for you. So the second one, that's reading news. You can ask what's going on in Ukraine right now, or what's going on in the United States, in New York, and smart assistant will respond. So, and third thing, that's the movies. Basically, that's the turning on and on TVs and going through the channels, and you can say, turn on the Netflix and show me the latest series of the Game of Thrones or something like that. In terms of frequency, basically, most of the people, they ever tried a few things. So they ever tried to ask a question. Let's say, Alexa or Siri, let me know what's the weather today. Also, many people are listening to music, as already mentioned, and also they check the weather. What's the weather right now in Minsk? So they ever tried to do this at least once. It was good experience when, as example, Siri appeared. Everyone was just playing with it, asking some dummy questions. A lot of people, they are doing on monthly basis, and more people starting doing this on daily basis. I personally use the voice assistant on daily basis. So basically, these numbers are growing up. It means that there is potential demand in the market for voice assistants. But if we take a look what we actually do in the web, right? So what we do in the web in comparison to the previous screen where we had a list of activities. So we search for information, for medical information, for any other information. So we use the Google or any other search engines, traffic, weather, places. We read the information, we read articles, we read Drupal.org, and all those things. So we purchase products, Amazon.com, a lot of different websites. They most likely based in the country. So, but good example is Amazon. Can go ahead, purchase there, eBay, AliExpress, all those things. Online banking, we're checking out the transactions in order to keep the statements of our accounts. And we use web for fun. That's the biggest thing in the web. YouTube, some funny GIFs with the cats, videos I use to watch the Grand Tour and Top Gear, so all those things, web for fun. There are so many activities, but these are kind of basic. And how exactly voice recognition can help us to do these activities like better and to like start using new technologies. So short story, there is one guy in Los Angeles and smart speakers help him to do the stand-up comedy. So he took the Alexa, Google Home, Siri and Cortana, asked a simple question. Alexa, tell me a joke, or Google Home, Google, tell me a joke, then write down all those jokes as a script, went to the Los Angeles stand-up club, presented these jokes to the audience. There was like complete silence, but for some of them, there was some laugh, and he basically measured laugh duration and laugh intensity, and guess which voice assistant was the funniest voice assistant? Any ideas? Good, yeah. So Cortana was the funniest one. Cortana is the Microsoft's kind of operational system. But getting back to the voice assistants, right now our funnel of delivering content will look like this. We have media, e-commerce, education, health, all those things. We deliver that content through laptops, PCs, smartwatch, mobile tablets, digital screens, and offline marketing. But what if voice assistant might be the next thing? So we don't need to like give up using laptops or mobile phones. We can just start using voice assistants in the places where voice assistants are appropriate. Let's say 2 years ago, I was checking the weather just going to Google. Right now, I just ask Alexa, tell me the weather, or what's the traffic, how much time it will take to get to some place in Kiev. So just basic stuff, we can just translate it through the smart speakers. Yeah, we can go get to the questions at the end. Thanks. So if we quickly take a look at the market, from Amazon right now we have Echo, Echo Dot, Echo Plus, Echo Auto, which is not released. That's the small thing for your auto. You can just put it there and it will be kind of smart car. And we have application which may be installed on any smartphone. So also we have a list of devices from Google. We have Google Home Mini, we have Home Max, which is huge, and Home, an application that may be installed on the smartphone as well, like Android, iOS, doesn't matter. From Apple, we have HomePod, which is hugely expensive thing, and we have Siri, which is pretty stupid, I will say, in comparison to other smart speakers. So, like all devices that are using macOS or iOS, they have Siri built in. And for Microsoft, basically there is no device, but any device which is using latest Windows version, they are shipped with the Cortana installed. But the important message that it's still on your phone, so you can just go ahead and install it. So there is actually no Siri application, but for a slide, I put it there just to see the list. So you can install Google Home or Google Assistant, doesn't matter. You can install Cortana, but only in the United States. You can install the Amazon Alexa and Siri, but for Siri you need to purchase an iPhone, sorry. So you don't need to have the device to play with the technology. So that's what I mean. But we were curious, what if we make information available through the voice assistants for our clients? We have plenty of clients who are kind of excited about technology, but they are saying, we are not ready yet. We cannot spend money on this because we have other things with the higher priority. So we put together a simple prototype for one of our clients. So let's take a look. That's the simple skill for Alexa. And basically with this, on this video, I have an interaction with the Alexa and with that skill that we've built as a part of prototype. Alexa, open YMCA skill.
Welcome to the YMCA skill. You can locate the closest association, find basic information, and browse schedule. Which would you like to try?
Tell me more about YMCA of Greater Brandywine.
YMCA of Greater Brandywine is an association of 8 YMCAs that offer life-changing programs, and it has 8 branches.
Locate the closest YMCA branch.
Please let me know your index and I can locate the nearest YMCA branch.
My index is 19380.
The closest location is Westchester branch.
Let me know the working hours of the Westchester branch.
It works from Monday to Friday from 5 a.m. to 10 p.m. and from Saturday to Sunday from 6 a.m. till 7 p.m. However, branch will be closed on Christmas holidays. Can I somehow help you?
I have 2 hours tomorrow morning. Please find a class.
You can attend the Gentle Yoga with Karen in Mind Body Studio 9 o'clock to 9:55 a.m. Do you want to receive registration link on the email?
Please send it to me.
You should have a registration link in your inbox and an appointment for a calendar.
Thank you. So that was kind of just, oh, thank you. Thank you. So that was kind of the basic interaction between me and Alexa. But this example is pretty simple because I ask static question and Alexa responds with a static response. Like there are a few variables, but that's pretty easy. And as a last sentence, she says that she will follow up with me over email. Then I will get some kind of registration link on email. So those are basic actions, but we can explore more. We can send push notifications to the smartphone. An example, Alexa cannot send you a picture, right? Because she can only talk with you. But if she will need to, she will send you a push notification, and there you will see text or image or link or anything like that, or you can send an email. So there are way more actions. We can just take a look at the Amazon.com, how they integrated with Alexa. There are so many actions that we can use. So we can just explore more things. But let's get to the business and to the implementation, right? That was kind of an overview. Let's take a look how we can implement some integration with the voice assistants. So first, there is a Drupal module which is called Alexa, but it's pretty lightweight. It will just fulfill a few needs, and if you will decide to go further, you will need to develop something from scratch. So my advice, take a look at the Alexa, take a look at the library that they provide with this module, which allows you to communicate with Alexa API. But basically, it all ties down to the using API. So we can use JSON API, plus for Alexa we can build a skill. For Google, we can build an action. For Cortana, we can build a skill. It's tricky with Apple because of closed ecosystem. So we cannot build a skill or application for integration with Siri. But with a few years or a year and a half or 2 years ago, they released an application called Shortcuts. So basically, you can build an application which will have integration with the shortcuts, and then through the shortcuts you can use your own command. So thank you, Apple. Another solution that's using IFTTT, pretty popular service. It's integrated with a lot of different services like Gmail, Slack, and whatever we have right now. So you can build a sequence of commands. Let's say you can say, hey Google, send a message to Slack. And then in IFTTT, then will be triggered some kind of actions, and that service will just go through the actions. So potential solution. Also, basically, those 4 platforms like Cortana, Google Home, Siri, Alexa, they are different. And in order to have application for all those devices, you have just built them separately. You have to spend time separately. So there is a framework which unifies source code for Alexa and Google, so you can build only application only once and deploy it to those devices. So basically it works like this. We have like a level of abstraction in between a source code and Alexa plus Google Home. And basically you write application once and then it's compatible with those 2 devices. If at some point you would like to go further, there is a RESA framework, which is open source machine learning tool. So as example, you're building an application and skill, but you can, of course, you can create some kind of commands. If the question is, then return that. So you can actually, using this open source library, you can train your skill to return return better responses. So there is an example in the screenshot. Basically, that's the library not only for voice assistants, but you can use it with your voice assistant. That's the library for building like chatbots, voice chatbots or text chatbots. But basically, with every request to smart assistant, the system will be trained and identify the best answer based on the previous and based on the history and previous requests. So there you can see that next best action has some kind of points, so that's the best answer. So if you would like to go further with like machine learning, take a look at this solution. So now let's take a look how skills exactly works and applications for Alexas and homes work. So from the high level, we have Alexa, which is device. Then we have Amazon Alexa, which is some kind of operational system, which is on the Amazon Alexa, and we have Alexa skill. This is an application, like application on the smartphone. So same thing with the Google Home. Google Home device, Google Assistant operational system or application, and we have Google Action, which may be deployed. Going deeper, basically, when we talk about a voice assistant, it means that we should keep in mind 2 things, input and output. From the high level, that's it. So we ask something, we return, we have the output from the device. We have input, we have outputs. That's pretty easy. Going a little bit deeper, how exactly voice application works. So we have speech input from the device. We say, hey Siri, what's the weather? Then Siri or Alexa or Home sends that request, audio request, to the API. So that might be Google API, Apple API, doesn't matter. Then that API recognizes and transforms your voice message to the text and then returns JSON to your application. Then in your application, you just receive the JSON with the phrases and variables, decide what we should do next, return JSON back to the API, and then API delivers your response as a voice to the device. So all those voice speakers and voice assistants work like this. Going deeper to the next level, again, as I mentioned, the device sends just audio sample to the API, and then API transform that to text. And at this point, on the device and in your skill, the magic happens. Then we should, device and you should identify what exactly we should do. And it's pretty complicated because you can say, Alexa, what's the weather today? Or you can say, Alexa, how cold is it right now? So those are two pretty similar requests. They are related to weather, but device should identify which application to call based on your speech. So basically, when we say something to the device, there are three basic elements with voice interactions. First, that's intent. Let's call it function. So we have function to find the restaurant within your application. Then we have something what user says. I might say, can you find me a restaurant in the area, right? Or I can say, what's a great pizza place nearby? Or I can say, do you know where I can have sushi, or what's the weather, or what's the traffic? So that's what user says. And within the phrase, we can have variables. As example, here we have pizza or sushi. So those are variables. Basically, the device will do that for you. Device will transform that to text and return to you to your function that is called find restaurant only pizza. So within your application, you will know that device redirected user to that function with a pizza. So that's it. Then you can build your response and return it back. You don't care about all those things because device will handle that for you. So basically, getting back from high level, it looks like this. The language model is simple. We ask something, launch application, do calculation, return response. So that's how skills and applications work within the smart assistants. But if we go further, so now we have an overview how smart speakers are working from the technical perspective, as well as an overview of the speakers. So how exactly we fill the web. So right now, whenever we build a website, how we feel that it's good or bad, basically we fill the web visually, right? We consume content visually. So we see the media assets, we see text and all those things. And the first thing in going further will tell us that some people cannot consume web browsers visually, right? So there are many blind people in the world, so they cannot see the screens and they cannot see the websites. So around of 56.7 million people in the United States, for example, they have some sort of disability, so they cannot use web visually, or they have some physical impairments, they cannot use the keyboard or mouse. And that's around of 15% of the world's population. So I'm getting to the point that voice assistants can significantly help and improve the accessibility for people. For blind people, for people with physical disabilities, and all those things. So here is an example of website of one of our clients. And I have a request for you to memorize that. So we have simple header, we have simple main menu, banners, just nothing crazy, right? And now, I would like you to close your eyes in order to experience how blind people will see that page. So please close your eyes if you would like to experience that.
YMCA of Greater Brandywine. Select language, link, user account menu, navigation list with 2 items. New, my account, link list item. Call to action navigation, request a free trial, link list item list with 1 items. Main navigation list with 7 items list item. Programs, link, locations, link list item. List item. Schedules, link collapsed. List with 6 items. Group lap swim, open gym, babysitting, CrossFit, link list item, join, give, main, watch now.
Okay, we can open eyes. Thank you for closing. So, what happened on the screen? Basically, that website is pretty accessible because we've had accessibility audit, and basically blind people will open that website and go through the voiceover through the elements of the website. Basically, we went through header, through main menu, and through submenu just in order to figure out what we should do on this website. So just to understand which information we have and which direction we can go, we should hear all the things, and it's pretty complicated. And again, I mentioned this website is pretty accessible. So that's how people with blindness use the web. So they might use some kind of these devices, braille keyboards, but they are hugely expensive. So they can just plug it into laptop, smartphones, or PCs in order to use. So getting to the point, voice assistants, it's the huge improvement for people with disabilities, because we are building websites, but we don't care about accessibilities. Like in the United States, they care a little bit more, and I hope that like in Ukraine and Belarus and countries, in nearest countries, we will care about accessibility more and more with every year. Next thing, we can use the smart speakers for the smart home. I personally used Alexa in order to control smart bulbs. So I can just say, Alexa, turn on lights in the bedroom, and Alexa will turn it on. We can use for locks, for TVs, for security cameras, irrigation, and now with smart speakers, we don't need to have a kid in order to bring you the remote control from TVs when you're lazy on your couch. So another good use case in comparison to let me take a step back. With voice assistants, we can feel like a Tony Stark, right? We can say, Alexa, make a smoothie, turn on the jazz. You can just poke around with the friends and show how awesome you are with the new technologies. But the real use cases, people with disabilities, hospitals. So as example, in Los Angeles, they installed Alexa in the wards, in the hospitals, in the wards. And basically people after the surgery who can barely move hand, or they cannot stand up from the bed, they can say, Alexa, turn on the lights. Alexa, turn on TV. Alexa, turn off TV. I've had a surgery in January, and it's painful to just stand up from bed, walk a few steps, and turn off the lights and get back. So with Alexa, I can just say that. That's another real use case of using new technologies. Hotels. So right now we are at a hotel, but I'm not quite sure if they have smart speakers in their rooms. But basically, in the Marriott hotels, they installed Alexa in the rooms, and now the visitors can say, Alexa, I need to replace the towels, or Alexa, I need something in the minibar, and that request will go to the staff, and they will bring that to you. Another great example. So in universities, so there is a university in St. Louis, they installed Alexas in the campus. They built a special skill for the campus and for university, and that's how they advertise that skill. So let's take a look.
Okay, make sure you get out there and do some of the stuff on campus.
I will. Hey. Alexa, ask Slew what's happening on campus tonight. Ask Slew who the Billikens are playing tonight. Ask Slew where the student center is. Alexa, call Mom. Is Quizify even a real word? Ask Lou when the library opens. Alexa.
Yes.
Ask Lou when student health opens. Alexa, where can I order pizza from? How long can pizza stay out? Play a guided meditation. What's the atomic weight of mercury? Ask SLU to call career services. Ask SLU how I changed my address. Alexa, ask SLU what time commencement starts today.
The 2022 commencement ceremony starts at 9 a.m. Congratulations.
So what I like about such videos that it looks awesome, right? It looks really good. The new technologies, you have the vibe of innovations, but actually it doesn't work like this. So, yeah, what I mean that it doesn't look like this in the real life, because you can say, Alexa, turn on the lights in the bedroom, and she will respond, I didn't recognize what you said, or something like that. So in the real life, it doesn't work like this, but that's a good example of integration of voice assistants, because SLU, basically that guy asked Slew tell me something. Slew, that was an application built specifically for St. Louis University. So it's still on your phone, right? You don't need to purchase HomePod in order to play with Siri. You don't need to purchase Google Home to play with Google Assistant. So start slowly with installing applications on your phone. And now, getting back to our guy who enjoyed the smoothie and jazz, let's keep in mind that at some point something might went wrong with the voice assistants.
Play jazz.
Playing jazz.
Smoothie.
Making smoothie.
Calendar.
No meetings today. Remember, dentist at 9:30.
Fire off.
Fire off.
Open door.
Door open.
And we're gonna do one more.
Oh, yeah. Open door.
Wrong voice command.
Open door.
Wrong voice command.
Open. Open door.
Repeat that.
Open door.
I didn't understand that.
Hey, open door.
Play on the floor.
Get over the door. Open the door.
Wrong voice command. Error.
Hey, there. With a rock. Open door. Open door. Higher.
Higher volume.
Higher.
Higher.
So let's keep in mind that at some point something might went completely wrong with the new technologies. So we can play with them, we can start using them, but don't rely completely on the technologies. So my final statement for today, let's start using voice assistants. It's simple, but it's time to start using them. So demand is growing, the market is it's warming up a little bit. So it's pretty interesting to see where voice assistants will go with over time, at least this year, next years. So again, short reminder, we are looking for good developers. We are a remote team distributed, working with the United States market. So Alex from 5Jars, happy to answer any of your questions. And I have some cool stickers with DrupalCon. So for all questions, and we'll get you that set of stickers. So thank you. Any questions?
So my name is Igor, and I'm very interested to know if there is any existing engine for Arabic language that works correctly.
For which language?
Arabic.
Oh, for Ruby, I have no ideas. Basically, all the things, they are built on JavaScript. So they are not built, the skills for voice assistants, they are built on JavaScript. So we can use their closure and all those things. And basically,
the question was about Arabic language. So not non-English, but Arabic.
Well, that's a good question. I have no ideas. Like, English works pretty well with all these devices. I have Amazon Alexa in Ukraine, so it works, but it cannot certainly identify my location for various actions. So for Arabic language, that's most likely a question to Amazon, Apple, when they will get the support of that. Because anyway, we receive JSON. So I have no experience with our other languages other than English in the voice speakers.
I would like to tell you about one crazy fact I have seen. You have had a picture how it works normally. Usually somebody speaks, after that they translate it to speech, right?
Yep.
To text. And after that text gets translated. Actually, that's not true for Vietnamese. From the practice, when I try to translate text with Google Translator, for example, it's horrible. Result is really unusable. But when I speak and this device pronounces Vietnamese and backways, it works really great.
Oh, good. So, yeah, I think those are different APIs. So with voice assistants, basically, You mean translate to the other language, right? I mean that these devices, they do not translate to languages, they basically translate what you said to written form, and then you will do something with that. But again, with languages other than English, had no experience, and that's a good thing. Let's connect after. In regards, I would like to hear more about experience and with other languages. And Arabic, that's crazy. So, any other questions?
Do you want to go? Oh, later.
Hi, Alex. Great presentation. Really interesting what you're doing. I'm Anthony from System Seeds. I'm very interested in privacy and security. And I think, obviously, there's been different scandals around voice. So Google Assistant is an incredibly powerful voice-powered algorithm. But also, you're the product within the Google ecosystem, right? Siri has the opposite end of the scale, and Alexa in the middle. People have been listening to Alexa conversations. So one thing I'm interested in while we're talking in Drupal camp is how the Drupal admin UX has been difficult for people who own and run sites for a long time. I think there's definitely a place within Drupal to not just provide services for the end user, but for site admins as well. You could fast forward the uptake of Drupal in big organizations if you make it very simple to create pages, etc., create products. But I think because voice hits the headlines when there's privacy concerns, how would you convince people that it is safe to use within their organization?
Well, that's a tricky question. I was at DrupalCon in Seattle with similar topic about voice assistants, and we discussed the privacy a lot, like during lunches with guys. So the privacy, it's kind of not our problem. I mean, developers who develop the applications, most likely for Amazon. Amazon says that we don't listen to you unless there is a trigger, hey Alexa, right? But they still do. They always in listening mode. For Siri, I don't know. Siri is listening, and every time when I watch the video on YouTube and someone says they are Hey Siri, all Siris in the world which hear that will trigger up. Google is slightly different. They build trigger based on your voice. Basically, if your wife will say Hey Google, the Google will not respond unless you add as authenticated like voice for that device. Good thing in regards to the using voice assistants was the admin interface. So basically, yesterday in Twitter, I saw an article of a guy who built some kind of prototype of voice over, and you can say Google create a note with a title and something like that. So it was pretty interesting. In managing content, I'm afraid that it's pretty risky because you can say, Alexa, change a title on the home page to something, and Alexa will hear something different and will screw up your homepage with something, so that will not be good. But privacy, it's a good thing to think when you develop application, as well as to rely on the vendors like Amazon, Google, because they do care. Every presentation they say, we do care about privacy. Hopefully, yes. So, yeah. Any other questions? No questions. Then thank you. Let's start using voice assistants.